Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Greg Tech New Horizons. This is Zypher, and I have no idea what we have in store for this episode, so come along for the journey. Whoa. Whoa. What just happened? I hate infernal mobs. Alright, so I might have lied a little bit. As you see, I do have a waypoint named Spec Project. I finally located some Spespertine, and hopefully we can get down here without my pickaxe breaking. Then I have to go right back home. Okay, so here's the issue. I broke down into this vein and realized that there's just lava pools everywhere, and I can make use of these lava pools. So I think what I'm gonna do, I brought along a pump and some combustion generators, and we're gonna start sucking this lava out. Because it's not an ocean, I don't think. I believe it's just uh, little ponds down here. So let's see what we can set up. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And as always, oh, we left out a crucial ingredient. I might need mining pipes to see anything come out of this. Whoa, these bats are dive bombing me now? Beautiful. Lava is starting to fill up. I'm gonna AFK here for a little bit and bring it back and see how empty this pool gets. A little update. The first pool has officially been cleared out. I'm not worried about these little couple extra spots. I can block those out. Oh my god, I did not believe I just did that. I'm okay. I'm just gonna burn alive for a few minutes. Okay, well, now we know of a third pool we have to clear out. This is the second that I'm working on. And all of this is in the great name of being able to harvest this grossular vein. I had to spend hard-earned tokens to grab the ore from the quest just to find this vein. And of course, it's going to give me this much trouble with lava. I will prevail. Now, something I've been dying to do for a while is to finally activate this crop harvester. I just about have almost every plot of land covered. This is going to be reserved for like very necessary materials. Silver being a good one. Maybe if I could get a gallium plant. I did just happen to breed this bauxia plant. So yeah, I've got quite a few different helpful plants here, but I say it's time to connect this bad boy up and watch it harvest. Oh wow, how pleasing. Row by row, anything that's mature and ready to harvest. I might as well leave this activated now. Now, since I've been so hard at work, in between trying to suck up the lava pool and whatnot, I did finally get stainless steel mixed. It's been sitting in this mixer for quite some time. I just needed to come and collect it. So now our next order of business is going to be upgrading our energy hatches on the EBF so that we can start processing some higher tier recipes. One bottleneck I ran into amidst all of my crafting in the last 2 to 3 hours is running out of circuits, and it looks like my batch crafting that I was in the middle of has stopped, so I need some more soldering alloy in here. But yes, I have absolute loads of circuits now, and I should be able to make as many machines as I want for another probably 2 episodes. First step, well, I guess this is the second step now. I've already made the energy hatches, but gonna need these MV combustion generators to power the hatches. Now, one by one, I can take the fuel out of these, and actually, I guess 2 at a time, now that I think about it, and drop the advanced in their places. Connect our pipes back up. Let me grab the last little bit of that out of the mixer so I can have both of the quests trigger. Ew, that burger was not very good. Now I just need to power I'm gonna do 2x annealed copper. Wow, that chum burger really did not do me any good at all. Part of me feels like this wrench is about to break. Okay, I got lucky. I'm gonna say right as I tried to destroy these hatches, but actually lucked out. Cool, cool. Now we just need those cables. Gotta hit the slime farm though. Okay. Alright, the backup has been completed. The wires have been attached. It's time to get stainless steel running perfectly. 85 seconds, we'll have our first stainless steel. Okay, well, many seconds later, we have a stack in 8. I had to save them so that I could get that quest knocked out of the way, because previous times I've played this series, I've started using it and came across that. Alright, since I guess now that I have stainless steel, I can show you what project I'm currently working on. Took a step away from progression for a little bit so that I could modify our ore processing cove, I guess is a good word to call this. But I need to put a reservoir here so that I can continuously feed this with steam, and a couple other things. I might see how expensive it'll be to put another steam grinder over here. That way I can use one solely for washing ores and one solely for crushing them, and then ready to be put through the forge hammer and furnace or something. So I'm gonna get to town and craft up some reservoirs. I'm pretty sure the drawer controller requires stainless steel. Yes. Now that I have that, I can actually craft this bad boy. We're probably gonna need another machine. Yep, I'm gonna need to craft an LV forming press for this too. So I got quite some work to do, but we'll come back when I've kind of redesigned this little area. Okay. As it turns out, I'm incredibly OCD. I always want things to be like absolutely perfect, but there's a method to my madness, and I'm about to show you why. Introducing our new and improved material storage room, material handling room. I don't know what to call this yet, but I'm incredibly proud of it. These blocks are actually mobs cannot spawn on this block. Matter of fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is very nice to have, meaning I don't necessarily need any of these torches even in here. They could spawn on top of the chests, I suppose, and machines. So I am gonna keep it a little bit lit up, but I'm gonna change the lighting technique as we get a little bit further along. You might also see I added an additional steam grinder and brought the other one down. So this is probably what took me the longest out of the hours that I spent redesigning this. But basically there's an output hatch right here, the input up top, and it'll just do its thing. Output to the chest kind of as a little storage buffer so that I don't run into it not being able to process the ores. And then that goes and has a conveyor on the side of this forge hammer that is pulling the items from the chest in, and that is in turn being sent to the ore washer, and the ore washer outputs to the chest. So this steam grinder setup I have for basically any types of ores that simply just need to be forged down and purified, such as vespertine, all the real major aluminum dusts. And then this grinder over here is for ores that I want to purify and sift. I do intend on getting 1 or 2 of the large sifters eventually, and don't mind this, I don't really need to sift this, I kind of use them interchangeably. But yes, a majority of this chest eventually, once I clean it up a little bit more, is going to be all for ores to be sifted. Now, I also was routing, obviously I had the grinder up top, so I was utilizing the steam tank up there, but I now discovered that I have access to fluid heaters, have had access to fluid heaters, and so I'm just using the same water supply for the ore washers to go into the heaters, which send steam directly into the steam hatch of these grinders. Yes, it took me forever to figure this out. I don't even want to know exactly how long I spent, I just know it was hours. There's also the plans in place to connect this into our little oreberry room that's not going to stay in oreberry room for long. I'm currently in the process of breeding gold oreberries to get some better stats on them. I already have 320 over here, so we're off to a good start. You always gotta peep when you get up the ladder just to make sure there's no intruders. Now, I think our next order of business, I've been running into some issues. I started doing a little bit more progression now that I got the whole redesign out of the way, and basically started working on getting the high voltage circuit so I can actually unlock that quest tab. But in doing so and utilizing a bunch of machines, I'm noticing a different issue that I might have mentioned in one of the early episodes. I feel like I did. But when I'm running, for one, our fuel production setup right here, which is all based off of the steam, and then this thermal centrifuge, which takes 2 amps, and sometimes the arc furnace, which takes 3, this little guy just can't keep up. And I was wondering why, because I have 12 solar boilers and loads of steam, but this thing literally runs out, and I've been wondering what some of the issues were, and I noticed that the valve itself only outputs roughly 2 to 3,000. You can't see it right now because it's completely full, but so really where we start to have problems after digging a little deeper, not only does this consume a massive amount of power over here in itself, which I have being powered, I think, by these 4 steam turbines. But if I start running machines over here, which are powered by these 4 steam turbines, that's when I start noticing after a decent amount of time that the valve just can't keep up. Once it runs low or runs out and I reset it, it just can't feed enough steam out, long story short. So I'm going to do some modifications. I have all the water being sourced from all those railcraft tanks way out yonder, and I have reservoirs now. So first things first, I think I'm going to go ahead and set up a reservoir under here. Okay, she's in place. Now let's fill her up. All right, we've got a fully functioning reservoir. Oh, let me claim that bad boy because I absolutely hate making diodes. I keep the coins on me just so that I can continuously buy them. Judge me. Okay, so now that that's done, I can take out this water pipe because that's... Oop. Screw you, sand. That's literally all that pipe was serving was water. So if I delete this one and right click this so that it'll output, I can put this back and then right click, and we're now being supplied water. I don't know if anybody's caught on to what I'm about to do yet, but I have like one more step in place. And I actually don't have the block in my inventory, so good luck guessing. The super tanks. That's what I had in store. So all I'm gonna do is set this up, then I can put a steam valve on the top to export the steam into the pipe, and the steam valve can output way more than the hatches themselves. And I don't have a limitation on how much steam I can put into the tank at once. So I think this is going to be the way to go. 20,000 as a LV, 40,000 as a MV. All I need is 20,000 right now. Well, we're probably going to fill up on 4 million steam in no time, because it's going to take me forever to piece all this back together. But one big piece is done. Now I've got to get the steam valve. One steam valve. And you, sir, are going to go right here. And yes, export. Yes, you're getting steam. Look at everything coming back alive. It's incredible. And that valve is transporting so much steam at once. Oh yeah, she's sucking it down. Holy crap. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and tidy everything up. And I'll see you on the flip side. Alright, it's been maybe 2 days since I've recorded, but don't worry, I've been doing a lot of work. Notably is, well, there's a couple things notably, but one, I have added 2 hatches with some extra utilities transfer nodes and pipes that are piping my products of this farm onwards. In addition, we also have a valve that is being fed directly from our reservoir up above, which we'll get to shortly. And so this farm is pretty much fully automated, except for me needing to put fertilizer in ever so often. But this thing is chugging along nicely. Looks like I need to put another brick here. I've also done a little bit more redecorating further into this little hall area. I'm kind of setting up a chemical bath process here. Right now I just have 2 MV combustion generators powering it, but I'm going to fix this power problem in just a moment. That's part of the big project for today. Another thing I've done is also add some drawers and a controller up top. Eventually I'm going to add some more transfer pipes coming off of this harvester and attach it in the back with a couple more drawers, so we'll have all of our farming materials being supplied. There's also a little bit of crazy pipe work going on underneath of here that I'm not about to show you, but we have wheat being fed directly into this drawer from the farm under below, which gets put into the mixer. This is how I make my compost. The compost, I just need to add another pipe to go into the top here, and then this pyrolyse will be constantly making biomass, which is empty right now. This distillery, I had to make ethanol, most notably for polyethylene, is now also being used to put ethanol. Now that I'm speaking about it, I did not add the pipe in yet, but it's going to pipe ethanol somehow into here. Yeah, this setup isn't going to work. I was so proud to show it off and how simple and neat my wiring was right here, which I'll show you in a little bit, but I've got to figure out how to get ethanol inside of this chemical reactor. I put this in myself with the cells, so I've got to figure out how to automate this part. I'll be back. Okay, I might have fixed the issue. I just moved everything. I swapped rows essentially, and there's crazy piping underneath of here. But if everything went well, when I hook all these wires up, we're gonna have biodiesel being made and stored. Glycerol in this super tank, biodiesel here. That way I can pump it out and underground. So let's see what type of damage I can cause. I already did the backup, so don't you worry. Alright. That's that, and we should see everything start lighting up. This is going to be absolutely terrifying for me, but let's see how well this works. Yet I realize I did not explain anything to you. So I have this 1 MV combustion generator, which is charging 2 medium lithium batteries. That in turn feeds 1 amp of power to the chemical reactor, and 1 to this low voltage transformer, which is stepping down to low voltage. Those then have their own wires for the LV machines. There are 3 LV machines, boom, boom, and boom. Didn't think I needed MV canners, so I decided to save a little bit of resources. But long story short, we have rapeseed and normal seeds being conveyored out into the fluid extractor, which should be sending seed oil down below. The seed oil is then going to be canned once it reaches 1,000 liters. So now that I'm getting enough seed oil, it is in turn being canned and sent over to this chemical reactor. Once the seed oil reaches 54 cells, it'll combine with 1 sodium hydroxide. One slight issue, I'm gonna run out of rapeseed over there here soon, which means I really need to get this thing powered and running, operational. I wanted to get these test breeds out of the way. I finally did get a shimmer leaf to grow. This I could pretty much take down. It hasn't really produced me anything exciting aside from tons of more tear stalks. So yeah, we take you down. Well, I was really hoping I could continue the whole process and actually see some biodiesel be made, but the recipe I chose calls for 54 cells of seed oil, so we're gonna have to wait on this clip for a little bit. But at a random point in this episode, I'll flash back and be so happy to finally have biodiesel. Granted, nothing blows up. I really wish there was an easier way to take this giant redwood tree down. They do not burn, so that's not an option. Therefore, I have taken it out of my base for now. It is a floating redwood tree above the base until I decide what I'm going to do with it. And I have replaced its area with a new crop breeding station. Over here I have a crop harvester that I'm going to use to just harvest the crops nonstop, but I really needed a dedicated breeding system that I don't have to worry about weeds overrunning. So here's the crop matron filled with weed X. It seems to be going through fertilizer like no man's business, so we might not keep the fertilizer in there all the time. But there's water being piped in on the side. Ow, that did not feel good. Neither did that. Anyways, there's water being piped in, electricity coming in via lossless cables, and we have a breeding station. I did happen to get some what I consider to be incredibly rare seeds over here, which was my temporary rare breeding station. And now I'm having issues getting them to duplicate so that I can actually transplant them over to our main breeding station where they'll grow much quicker. And like I said, I don't have to keep up with the freaking weeds. But I got a steel leaf right here. Next to it, I have Reactoria, and then cobalt and ardite berries. So I'm incredibly happy with these seeds. I just would really love to get them transplanted over to the breeding station eventually. So I think we're at a fair enough point where I can start on the high voltage tab, and I'm not quite sure what exactly I want first. But I really would like to take a look at the distillation tower, a jetpack, and a couple other different options that I can't actually view in the quest book until I unlock the high voltage era. So, shall we go ahead and make ourselves a tier 3 HV machine hull? Boom. Tier 3 HV, baby. This was number 1 I wanted to look at. Good old jetpack. So I might wait on the jetpack. Let's look at the distillation tower next. Well, that's not happening either because we need EV circuits and a clean room. So we have a lot of progression to do before I can get the distillation tower and the jetpack, but at least the HV age is unlocked. I'm going to spend the next little bit of time kind of opening up the quest branches and see what it has to offer. Okay, I may have decided against opening up this quest branch for until next episode because I realized how troublesome it's going to be to make biodiesel until I can get these bigger, better, awesomer rapeseed. So for now, I'm going to install a little diesel setup, and I actually have already done it. So I'm going to take you and show you it. In this craziness of a box, this side we have light fuel being made. There's a super tank with oil that's being piped in from our oil resources outside. that gets distilled in 2 different distilleries into light fuel. The light fuel is then piped all the way over into the mixer. Now for the heavy side, I have a centrifuge here that we're about to go run out and find some oil sands for that I'll store in this drawer. And it will centrifuge out the heavy oil, automatically send it over to this one distillery, which makes some sulfuric heavy fuel. Send that to a chemical reactor for sulfuric. That's not right. No, it is right. Sends the sulfuric heavy fuel to this chemical reactor and makes heavy fuel, which is canned and then sent into this mixer, creating diesel into the super tank and then into the system of pipes. Let's go get oil sands. Well, the quest said to look in a mountainous region, and I look on the map. The first area I looked in was this little desert mountain thing, but it's just sand everywhere you can't see, obviously. So I just flew over to this mountain, hang gliding like a professional, and the minute I got here, small oil sands ore. So all I gotta do now is put this in the ore finder 1 and figure out exactly which chunk it's in. Here it is, right here. Now we find the center of it, right here. And we mark it. First we take this annoying thing out. Now we mark it. It makes me happy, so I turn it a smiley face. Some might wonder what I'm gonna do to get home. Well, of course we're gonna climb the mountain and hang glide. This will be the most expert course I've ever rode. Ready? Man, we're almost at the clouds. I might be able to make it back to the damn cliff. Guess I don't need these on. I'm still at Y175. That's crazy. Well, the ground's starting to come into view. Who wants to make a bet? Is the redwood tree taller than we are right now? That's a negative. Oh, I might be able to slide into the viewing window. All the way from that mountain? There's no way. Oh, there's a way. We're home at last. Home at last, home at last, from one of the most epic journeys, and we found oil sand. Now we need a miner, and we'll go grab it. Well, I made it all the way here and set this up and realized I have no fuel to power the generator. So, I've got to go right back. Well, I'll make it pretty again eventually, but I did reconvert our redwood tree into the Tower of Flight. So I can just come up here, and this is going to be extremely useful for getting to the oil sands until I find one closer to here. But just use these elevators, which I had a hell of a time with because they do not work properly in the slightest in this pack. But get up here, jump, and we'll be on our way to the oil sands, this time with the fuel. The cape going through the hang glider looks kind of goofy, but I like this view. Now, if I didn't forget anything else, we should start seeing some oil sands come in. I've got a chunk loader on that vein right now, and I just took some of the impure dust we had, and I'm going ahead and purifying that down. Now we just take the purified sands and run them through the centrifuge, which should in turn give us heavy oil, which if I have everything routed right, will automatically push it to this distillery. So let's see what happens. Looks like we've had a success. Now we just need this distillery to actually start working. Oh, I probably need a different chip at this point. Sulfuric Heavy needs a program 1. It also needs an MV distillery. That's unfortunate. Kink in the plan slightly. Alright, here's our distillery. I already rewired behind here, so all I should need to do is put this chip in. There we go. There's the sulfuric heavy fuel. Alright, we're up and running now. I just need to make some hydrogen for the chemical reactor, and I'm gonna let this build up so that I can complete this quest. I need 8 cells of sulfuric and however many of regular heavy. Put some cells in here, start making some hydrogen, I hope. Now it's time to drain this big, massive steel multi-block railcraft tank. Well, it's a good thing I crafted this thing a lot earlier on accident, because now I need to use it. I figured when I was creating this, after I realized I needed the advanced distillery, that I was going to run out of power occasionally, and I do when I need to utilize the mixer. So I think what I'm going to do is pop an HV combustion engine back here with that transformer, and that'll give me 4 amps of MV to then send to the machines and the transformer for LV. So we're going to have a crazy looking mess back here, if it doesn't already look crazy enough. Our first turbo combustion generator with the shittiest 85% fuel efficiency, but I'll take it. And because I'm absolutely terrified to hook up this crazy setup, back up. Okay, now hopefully I don't die in a catastrophic explosion. Okay, now I see if we have issues. And back to our original schedule programming. I really need to silence this machine. I think I have some extra muffler pieces somewhere. Yes. Just so much diesel being made right now. I love it. You be quiet. Well, with the diesel production now set in stone, I think it's a good point we can go ahead and wrap up this episode. If you stayed tuned to watching all the way to the end, like I always say, thank you very much. Your support does not go unnoticed. Stay tuned for next episode when we really start to dive into HV. I needed to get a new power source before I could do a majority of what I want to do. And we now have that. So I'll see you guys next time.